Welcome to the 5:30 p.m. October 10th, 2023 CRA meeting. We do have a quorum, so I'll call this meeting to order. Would you please join me in a moment of silence? And the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, would you please read the rules of speak?
Yes. Individuals wishing to speak on agenda items must complete a sign-up card prior to the item being introduced. Sign-up cards are available on the table. Individuals wishing to speak on non-agenda items may do so under petitions and requests. No sign-up card is required. Citizens will be given 3 minutes to speak on all agenda items. All sign-up cards and exhibits being submitted to the CRA shall be placed in the box on the table.
Thank you very much. I need a motion to approve the minutes of September 12th, 2023.
So moved.
I have a motion and I have a second. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Minutes passed. City Manager.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, Vice Chair. The first agenda item tonight is item 6A, which is representatives of the Titusville Code Enforcement will provide an update on activities in the community redevelopment area. Mr. Tollison's here to provide you your presentation.
All right, here we go.
And thank you all and good evening, Chair and Vice Chair and board members. We have a short PowerPoint to talk about
Very good.
what we've done. And just as an update for the CRA, we've assigned specific team members that work specifically within the CRA. And some of our accomplishments, business tax receipts, building permits, junk and debris, overgrowth, and vehicle are some of the most common that we've run into and that we try to address quickly. Some of our challenges have been eliminating attractive nuisances and blights. There's some areas that we continue to work with the police department on and trying to eliminate some of those issues. And as you can see, we did a quick little short of the violations, and those are more predominantly overgrowth, vehicles left, trash and debris, and those kind of things. Some of the happenings is we've been doing an infrastructure assessment with which we shared with Mr. Ford when he was here, and we've since working with Sue now. Our business trespass program, with which I'll talk about in just a minute. And some of our future goals is we really want to enhance communications between code and our stakeholders downtown within the CRA. And on that, we've also added crime prevention through environmental design or CEPTET. We have 2 new practitioners for that as well. Our business trespass program, we actually went to the chief in April and said that we provided the idea that we'd like to work more closely with the police department as it talks with trespassing issues. Is there was some 300 trespass warnings and most of them were actually outdated. So we presented the idea and we got the permission to move forward with that. So in May, we began the implementation of our business trespass program. And we thought where better to start than at the CRA. And so it basically was a registration, a blanket trespass affidavit with up-to-date information of our businesses. We get that actual number that someone will contact us and or the police department back. We put a sticker after a site visit in the front, so the officers, when they arrive, they already know that trespass affidavit is up to date. There is current information available, and then therefore late at night, if they see someone loitering around, staying on a property that has the sticker on it, they can go ahead and address those issues. We mailed out 130 letters. We currently have registered 6 participants in in the city. And we've actually expanded now outside the CRA as well. We are getting great buy-in on it. And then we analyze that data quarterly, and then using the third quarter from the program, we discovered that there were some locations within the CRA that could be of some concern. There was actually 136 calls for service for trespassing suspicious persons, 99 for that were of some sort of incident with a vehicle. And so that prompted us to do an analysis of just a 5-year snapshot of this particular area. And what that produced was, as you can see, around our 2 parks, the 7-Eleven, the CVS, we're kind of high. And so we did a cursory septet review because we didn't have the authority to move forward with the full one. So we did a cursory one, and we applied these principles. These 5 principles are natural surveillance, natural access and control, maintenance, and territorial reinforcements, and of course, social management. And social management is a big drive, and that's where we're really trying to get activities generated for positive events and things that would bring people back down to these sites that it was originally designed to be used for. And maintenance, of course, would be periodic inspections and ensuring that if there's lights and those kind of things. But with that, then we took a 1-year snapshot. And we saw that it basically mirrored the 5-year snapshot. So we now have identified where we need to go and probably get more in depth with that. We've shared this with Susan. And more specifically, as you can see there around the parks, and we just went ahead and threw in the rest of the parks in case y'all were interested. And so, as you can see, we're going to be addressing these more often. And then here was the main area within the CRA that we looked at. And as you can see, it's Space View, Veterans Park. The little yellow one there, that's private property. We have since got with that. We were having some issues there. We've now been able to contact the owners of that, and we're going to be able to get that cleaned up. And trespass, there was some camping going on there that needed to be addressed. And then with that, we thank y'all, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I just simply would say that I appreciate the report. I appreciate what you do every day, but to be able to see it in chart and graph and numbers and higher, more, that's really nice. I don't think I've really seen that before like that, at least not in the presentation. Again, I realize, and you guys got a really tough job. You really do. Between a rock and a hard place, and no matter what you do, somebody's not going to be happy with how you did it or what you did. And I can relate to that. Just coach for a little while. Nobody's always happy. So
Even as a mayor?
I wasn't going to go there. But with that said, yes, I appreciate you guys very much. We're blessed to have you. Member Nelson.
Thank you.
Question for you, Glenn.
Yes, ma'am.
If you see something, a code violation, as you're driving around, are you authorized to stop and address that code violation?
Well, actually, ma'am, we actually have, when I first came on board, it was more of a reactive response. And
Yeah.
we've changed that, and it actually is proactive. And that's why you see such a large volume of calls that we have, because when we get a call, or if it comes through our new citizen portal, when the inspectors go out, they address the issue that we came to, but they also address any issues going to and coming from that they may see.
That's great.
And,
That's great.
So,
I think all of us appreciate that because that helps us out.
thank you, ma'am.
And we're not getting the calls. You are.
Well, on occasion,
Oh,
as you know.
Yeah. Thank you.
Member Cole.
I just, I spoke to you earlier, and, your job is really a thankless job. And people hate to see you coming, but I just want to let you and your staff know that we definitely appreciate the things you do. We would not be able to exist in the cohesive community that we live in if it weren't for you. So I look at you guys as being our linchpin.
Yeah.
So I say to you, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With that, thank you guys very much. Appreciate what you do and what you do every single day.
And we would like to thank y'all and seize the opportunity.
And if I could, just have the team stand up to be recognized by the CRA.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. And ladies, thank you. Thanks, sir. Oh, City Manager.
On to item 8A, which is the Commercial Interior Renovation Incentive Grant Program. On 13 July 2023 and 11 July 2023, the Community Redevelopment Agency's meetings, the board was addressed under petitions and requests regarding the need for grant funds to assist in the termite treatment in buildings in the downtown historic district. After discussion, CRA staff recommended that property owners submit an application signed by all the owners so that the city could formally review to see if the request meets the criteria in the grant program. The staff has received and reviewed the grant application for termite treatment from a group of property owners. There are a total of 5 property owners involved in the row of buildings along 301 through 317 South Washington Avenue. Applications have been received by 3 of the property owners. 2 of the non-applications are participating in the termite treatment infestation eradication so that the entire block can be treated. According to the contractor, the entire block needs to be treated at one time. Staff has reviewed the grant applications against the commercial interior grant building renovation policies and procedures and determined that the requests do not meet the following eligibility requirements. Items eligible for funding under the grant programs are limited to permanent improvements. Based on the information provided in the applications, the request appears to be related to routine maintenance rather than permanent improvements. In addition, tax-exempt properties are ineligible for commercial interior grant programs. The historic museum in the downtown area is a tax-exempt property. Staff is here to answer any questions that you may have on this item 6A, Commercial Interior Renovation Incentive Grant Program.
Brad, anything you guys want to toss up there first or just questions?
There's quite a bit involved in this one. There's really 3 questions to ask. First, you have the statute, state statute 163. Is it compliant with the state statute 163 3.35 and it is under statute 163.350 and 163.70. The second question is this application consistent with the City of Titusville CRA master plan? The answer to that is yes. Our grant program was established consistent with state statute 163. The third question is the applicant consistent with the commercial interior building renovation grant criteria and guidelines, policies and procedures? Currently, the items eligible under the policies and procedures of the commercial interior grant are limited to permanent improvements. The request appears to be related to routine maintenance rather than a permanent improvement. Staff believes that the request is not consistent with the current guidelines. This is a policy decision to be made by the CRA board.
All right, thank you. Any questions there? Cards?
There's no cards.
Member Ball.
A couple of questions for staff. I think, first, I basically agree fully with the analysis that you guys did on this. And I recall some of the reservations a number of the members up here had concerning the applicability of this program for this purpose, at least as it exists today. But I was confused a little bit about going through the application. Maybe you know the answers to this. There are 5 owners for those properties. Only 3 of them made application, but it was implied in the staff report, or stated in the staff report, that the other 2 property owners would be participating in the termite treatment program.
That is correct.
So they're going to fund without seeking any, they would have funded without asking for any support. It looked like 50% of the low bid was $16,000, and I couldn't make the numbers add up. If I added the grant request or the share for each of these 3 owners, it only came to $7,198, which put a much larger proportion of the contract cost on the 2 that weren't asking for any help. Is that correct?
That is correct. It's, the proportionate shares were based on the square footage of each building.
So, yeah, I think that certainly complicated the whole consideration of the matter as well, beyond all the concerns we had. So the only other question I have for staff is, and I know you work with the Historic Preservation Board, I don't see that they've considered this kind of issue, but are there other grants? Are there historic preservation grants at the state level or otherwise that can address a situation like this where you have adjoining historic structures that share a common problem that you know of? Because I think our historic preservation ordinance it includes, assisting property owners in accessing grants.
There are 2 state grants, the Florida Division of Historical Resources. One's called a small matching grant, and one is called a special category grant. One's for a max of $50,000, the other one's $450,000. I'm not aware that they can be used for this kind of maintenance, upkeep, but certainly if there's going to be an issue with the structure, the special category one is a definite one that's used for rehabilitating structures and actual improvements. So if it comes to that point, that grant could be applied for.
So the applicant's not here tonight?
But the other thing too, those grants from the state are for nonprofit organizations. This is a privately owned, then they would be eligible for tax credits, whether that might be state, local, or federal.
Okay, that answers all my questions. I think staff got it right.
We have a motion?
Move to deny commercial interior renovation incentive grant program application 301 for 301 to 317 South Washington Avenue. Can I say with regret, but I totally understand it, and I think you're right.
I think it's the right thing, too. I think it's a tough precedent-setting thing. Member Ball,
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call vote.
Member Cole?
Yes.
Member Nelson? Yes. Chairman Diesel?
Yes.
Vice Chair Robinson?
Yes.
Member Ball?
Yes.
Thank you very much. City Manager.
On July 20, 2023, the City Council awarded the construction contract to Rush Construction in the amount of $998,656 for the Spaceview Park Walkway. It's now recommended that the Community Development Agency recommend to City Council to approve the use of an engineering of record contractor for the construction phase engineering services for Spaceview Park Walkway by Taylor Engineering in the amount of $95,000. Additionally, approve the associated budget amendment and authorize the mayor to execute the contract. Mr. Cook's here to answer any questions you may have concerning this agenda item.
Board, anything? Mr. Cook, you got anything? Any cards? We're getting ready to get one.
One card, Stan Johnson.
Come on up, Stan. This is approved construction phase engineering services, Spaceview Park Walkway.
My name is Stan Johnson. I'm here to oppose this for reasons that I've said to you before, is that City of Titusville has made expenditures and so forth on projects that in that vicinity that should be doing this, and that is opposing the sewage spray. because this is also the vicinity in that area. In fact, is regarding this sewage spray, is that I sent to you today the official record book, an official record book document that's dated January the 22nd, 2021. That's over 2 years ago. And the title of that affidavit is Affidavit of a Complete Lack of Common Sense and Disregard for Public Health by the below-named Titusville employees and honorable elected city officials for their foolish decision to leave contaminated fountains turned on in Sandpoint Park ponds, well, in this case, and also Spaceview Park in that very vicinity that we're talking about, contaminated by a sewage spill. And this is, just reading from this, which you probably didn't read, that I sent to you today, is that that this is our respected leaders of our city continue to choose to not shut off the dirty fountains of Sandpoint Park that create an aerosol. Well, if you remember, there's even a song that says, don't pull on Superman's cape and don't spit into the wind, because it's a dirty thing to do. It's a dirty thing to do. And the thing is that I've listed a number of people on this, like Mr. Stauffer and the Mayor Diesel and our Richard Broom, our attorney, and city manager. And today I want to mention also that it includes CRA members. CRA members. In other words, what I'm saying is that as a professional engineer, I'm saying to you, you should turn it off. And
All
you
right,
didn't
stop
do
a
it.
second here, just real quick, because I don't want to do this all night. How does that relate to Spaceview Park walkway amount of $95,000?
There is where
Okay,
we
start the clock.
had,
That's what I
in
want to
that,
hear you
in
about.
Spaceview Park is where we had a fountain on. And also in that area, that was where the contamination was, in that same area. So that's what we're talking about. In other words, you're putting it, you're spending money, and you should be doing something that you're supposed to do a long time ago. And that was, in other words, after I filed this affidavit, 3 months later, you were still spraying people with piss and poop. I can't believe it. It's horrible. And you guys are guilty of that. And y'all think it's funny, but it's horrible. This is the only city in the United States that deliberately sprays its people with piss and poop. And you've never changed that attitude. The CRA has never changed it. I've come to you many times. So you will continue to do that, and I think that's a bad thing. I'm thinking especially of Mr. Jim Ball and Mr. Aker, who's not here.
1-0.
You guys are responsible
you.
for this. So I'm asking you to also
We're good.
get rid of the city manager.
We're good, we're good, we're good. We'll talk more. Because we're going to talk between meetings.
Yeah.
I don't think we got any questions. Member Nelson.
I don't think we have any other cards. Okay. Then I would move to improve the construction phase engineering services for Spaceview Park walkway, approve the associated budget amendment, and authorize you to execute the contract.
I'll second.
Motion member Nelson, second member Cole. Roll call vote.
Member Cole?
Yes.
Member Nelson? Yes. Chairman Diesel?
Yes.
Vice Chair Robinson?
Yes.
Member Ball?
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Petitions and requests.
I had another poster, I don't see it right now. You've seen this poster, you saw it just the last time I was speaking about. And there's a poster that talks about fraud, a $70,000 fraud. And this is a bad thing that's happened in the city of Titusville. In other words, that you still, that people still can consider this fraud. It's never, there's been no apology, none whatsoever. And as far as I'm concerned, all of you owe me apology. You owe my client's apology. You owe the city an apology. And as far as I'm concerned, you even owe, if you believe in a just and good God, you believe you need to apologize, repent to God for what you're doing. What I'm saying is that I'm a professional engineer, and I'm licensed to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the people. And it is not, when you spray people with piss and sewage, it's not protecting the health, safety, and welfare of the people. So what do? You disregard what I say. You take out a check and balances. That's me. And you will not. You refuse to get another civil engineer to refute. Like, for example, Mr. Mr. Cook. Mr. Cook understands that if he opposes this, I will report him to the board. And you guys understand that. That's why you can't get another professional engineer to testify against me, because they'll go straight to the board. It's not true. What you're doing is bad. What Jolene is doing is bad. Her excuse, she blames it on somebody from FDEP. You don't piss into the wind and let people get drenched with piss and poop. That's what you guys, you continue to have that same policy. Isn't Mr. What is your fearless leader saying? I'll tell you what my dad would say. My dad would say you guys are fruitcakes and crackpots. All of you. And why in the world would you do that? I got an email from my brother-in-law today. He said, don't say piss and poop, say feces and urine.
There you go.
Yeah, maybe that's it. So maybe that would be more acceptable. The thing is, what you're doing is bad. I'm ashamed of what you're doing. You owe me and my clients an apology for this and the $70,000 fraud that it still keeps going on and on. And what'd you do? You had another case of spraying people with piss and poop at Sandpoint Park. Not Sandpoint Park, it was at Senior Center. Nothing. Can't believe it. So you should read the emails that I sent you, which you probably haven't read. It's about, I even mentioned that you deny the sewage spills on Carroll Avenue, where Travis Stevensville lives.
Thank you very much.
Any questions?
No
May I
questions.
have more time?
No more time. City manager.
Next, if you have any more petitions and requests,
There's not too many here yet.
the executive director's report has no action items, and subject to your questions or information, I can answer for you.
Anybody want to add anything at the end here? No? Look, oh yeah, I was gonna, because I kind of expected a little something, and you weren't doing anything. Member Bob.
No questions for city manager, executive director.
Yeah, same here. I must have.
Two brief information items. The county commission is meeting tonight, so we don't know what they're going to do, but there is the item, just for follow-up to last month's meeting, there are 3 TDC-funded items for approval on their agenda, and we'll know tomorrow what they did. One of the items to give them, when they do it, if they do it, credit, there's 3 capital projects, facility grant projects that the TDC recommended. 2 of those are in North Brevard. One is the Police Hall of Fame, some, not as much as they asked for, but some capital money to help them with their project there, and I believe, and as well, the Wartburg Museum. The other item on the agenda of interest is some sort of restructuring of the marketing event program is what they're calling it, without specific reference to cultural events. There was some notion at the last meeting that there may be a restructuring of the program that would allow some funding to be made available to organizations with respect to marketing their events, cultural or otherwise, special events. But nobody quite knows how that's going to turn out yet. So I will give you an update, or we can all read it tomorrow in the paper.
Yeah.
The other item, which speaks to the community impact of Titusville Playhouse, is I wanted you all to be aware, if you're not, that this coming weekend, and only for this weekend alone, the Playhouse, in cooperation with the Moore Cultural Center and Museum, will be putting on a play that's about the life and times of Harry T. Moore. And the Harry T. Moore story is called Fearless. And those of you that know the Harry T. Moore story know that indeed Harry T. Moore and his wife, Harriet, were fearless activists in social justice at a time when it tended to generate, in their case, generated horrific violence that cost them their lives.
So for any of you, it's only this weekend, and Titusville Playhouse is certainly pleased to work with the Moore Center to put that on. It's selling extremely well, and if you haven't gotten a ticket, you might not be able to, but they added a Saturday afternoon matinee. So I mention that because it's important to it. It's a local story and something kind of different. It's a special event for the Playhouse, and just kind of puts an emphasis on what these kind of organizations can do for their communities. That's all.
Very good, thank you. I look forward to trying to get there. Anything else? Executive Director, you good? All right, we'll meet again at 6:30. Meeting adjourned.